Okay, so a hot topic for this week in particular is the fact that Gen Alpha are choosing to or being forced to unplug. Let's take a look at some stats. Gen Alpha, they are aged 12 to 15 years old. Their social media habits have taken a sharp turn towards consumption. So you can see that they're increasingly logging in to watch, browse, and shop, with notable jumps in passive behavior like following sports, spotting trends, and scouting out style inspiration. And this was findings from Global Web Index this year. Some other popular activities online for this Gen Alpha, who will be turning 16 in 2026, are the fact that they are very likely to be regularly in their DMs. They like chatting, particularly to, as well as friends, AI. So Snapchat AI and the Meta AI assistant are regularly relied upon for questions and answers, inspiration, and they also use YouTube a lot for their information. Remember, this is the first generation that's been fully immersed in a digital, mobile first, always on world. And whether or not you're targeting them, they hugely influence mainstream social. So their behavior is going to be really important to us over the coming years. In fact, the youth media strategist at Roblox said young people, they are still perennially, sorry, I can't say this word today, perennially online, but sharing less in terms of their opinion, their personal life. They're much more guarded online. They have seen how it can backfire. So, really interesting to see a little bit of a difference there. Teens are choosing AI chatbots over actual friends. According to Vice magazine, a UK survey shows that 40% of teens have chatted with AI for support or company. And I actually don't think that's just teens. I think that is spreading into older generations as well. Mental health experts have warned that bots are dangerously ill-equipped for complex crises, though. And despite warnings, bots' 24/7 presence is luring teens into artificial relationships over real life connection. So, really interesting stats there. Again, I know I mentioned YouTube there, but YouTube will is set to completely overtake linear TV in viewership amongst US children by 2026 as well. And I thought it was really interesting to hear from the famous, what would you call him? Investor, businessman, entrepreneur, life coach, Gary Vee. And he has actually predicted as well that for next year, we will begin to see a slight change in Gen Alpha behavior as well. So let's see what Gary Vee had to say.
Alpha unplugging. This is so fun for me. I am completely convinced that young Gen Z, Gen Alpha that's coming next, and very honestly, probably all of Gen Z and maybe even young millennial are all understanding this is great, but, and more importantly, and this is great. And by the way, I know you all want to demonize it. This is great. It's changed your life. I know we're all shitting on it, but like, how do you order food? How do you get a date? How do you like do a million things? This is great, but it's not the end all be all, and we don't want to live like this 24/7, 365. This and. So the unplugging is just the pendulum swings. In 2006, when I'm like, this didn't exist and didn't have any of the market share. Now it's gotten so much, and I think within the next decade, and I think starting in 2026, you'll see more businesses like this. I just talked about a business where you get paid to walk with people, like literally walk with them. I think experiential, music festivals, going outside, going to events, just going out and putting the phone away. So would everybody else. So it's here.
Really interesting. And actually, I've seen this a lot as well in kind of travel as well. So I work with a few travel brands, and there's definitely this kind of digital detox, unplugging, kind of retreat, wellness, put your phone away, lock it away trend that seems to be emerging as well. And if we look at, again, some more information from the GWI study, there has been like a percentage change as well in terms of the share of 8 to 15-year-olds who prefer to watch movies in the cinema or usually see friends on weekend or like doing gym class compared to using the internet or using computing and saying it's their favorite subject as well. So we are seeing a little bit of a shift. And of course, this week was the first day of the social media ban in Australia for under 16-year-olds. So on the 10th of December, Australia decided to completely ban social media access for those under the age of 16. So the world is closely watching. A lot of governments around the world are keeping an eye on this to see how it performs. Whether or not you agree with it, I do think it is, of course, incredibly important because it's got everybody talking about their social media usage and whether or not it's right to give under 16-year-olds complete access to social media. Of course, there are some very interesting stories that you can read up on of teenagers, generations that feel that they're, really being treated unfairly and missing out, particularly those that live in remote areas and maybe don't have access to kind of hanging out with their friends and playing outside, etc., very easily. But I think it is a really interesting move towards kind of protecting young minds from harmful content, from addiction, and getting people to go outside a little bit more as well. So we will see what happens there. So Gen Alpha isn't rejecting technology, as Gary Vee said in his video. They still think that this is great, but they're redefining their relationship with it. They're the first generation to grow up entirely online, yet they're also leading the charge towards intentional unplugging. I can remember this was bubbling away a little bit in 2019. People were talking about digital detoxes, putting their phone away for the weekend. And then that kind of disappeared with COVID, obviously, when we were the most chronically online we've ever been. There was a study which came out recently that said in 2022, that was peak social media. That was that kind of the most social media usage we've ever seen. I don't think social media is going to go away anytime quickly, but I think people are going to be a little bit more boundaried in the years to come and build campaigns, building your campaigns with mental health in mind and prioritizing digital wellness is really going to earn people's trust in the years to come. Interestingly, TikTok has just launched some new gamification badges to fight doom scrolling. So they're rewarding people who kind of stop the scroll and don't scroll as much. I wonder if that will become a bit of a trend to almost wear your kind of reduction in screen time as a badge of honor as well. So this Gen Alpha paradox isn't a contradiction, it is an evolution. And you've got to be paying attention to it because it could be another hugely important cultural shift in the decade to come. So let's watch closely and see what happens in Australia.